simple.
It's 11 o'clock on the dot, I'm on the block. Ain't no time for no sleeping, no yawning, no whatnot. 12 running around creeping and peeping for the drop. We be moving with caution, the block is really hot.
The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot.
They tried to frisk me, want me hot. Incarcerated, I won't be hot. I run and hit the corner hot. I'm headed for the border hot. Mix the weed with water hot. Sold it to my auntie. Hungary, I can't be. So I sell it to my family. I hope they don't sing like they tryna win a Grammy. I hope it ain't an act like they tryna win an Emmy. I'm tryna get a nut, so I'm moving like I'm Sandy. I'm living underwater, I don't know how I can't breathe. Maybe it's the scuba dive air tank. Maybe it's to do it when they say I can't. Maybe it's the is what they say I ain't. But either way, I ain't taking that bait. It's 11 o'clock on the dot, I'm on the block. Ain't no time for no sleeping, no yawning, no whatnot. 12 running around creeping and peeping for the drop. We be moving with caution, the block is really hot.
The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is
really cold in the wintertime, cold in the summer, cold when the wind blows, cold like December, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be cold anyway, anyway.
The block's definition of hot, I be a simile. I know the definition of op, that be the enemy. I seen a lot of brothers get popped. We pouring Hennessy and God forbid a nigga get locked, cause they ain't tending me. Diaz, Buenos Dias to senoritas. We moving units by the kiosk for fly Adidas. Forever eating la comida, I pack a heat out. We lurking just to catch you lacking, like we on Cheetos. Free us, rip us, long live us. We try to grab the plate of what the crackers won't give us. Most of my niggas never had a Thanksgiving, so instead of giving thanks, my niggas taking what's given. You know what it is, set the city on fire. Girl, free the titty if you don't wear a wire. When it comes to paper, that's the shit that I require. When it comes to power, that's the shit that I desire. For real.
It's 11 o'clock on the dot, I'm on the block. Ain't no time for no sleeping, no yawning, no whatnot. 12 running around creeping and peeping for the drop. We be moving with caution, the block is really hot.
The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is hot. The block is hot, the block is
really cold in the wintertime, cold in the summer, cold when the wind blows, cold like December, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be cold anyway, anyway.
Minute to wait, pivot, shit start tipping like domino. Hearts broken, no minutes, still gotta fuck some commas up. Promise we never wind up in Romulus. The road Manila now, niggas feeling lost in Acropolis. The prestige, body counts in the backstage. After curtain call, I go back to burying past ways. Showtime, sleeping need applying his blackface. Back and still, niggas pack steel, parents put keep away. Drought deep, when waterworks need to cascade. Trying to figure out how to feel without sipping cast. Dang, how to chill us out, all my niggas end up in fast lane. Screen of grass dies on either side when seasons change. See the way my account's set up. You can overdraft all you want, just know your partner's gonna get fed up. You gonna take some hits on your way to getting that bread up. On God, it's hard to let down your guard before you get up. Just keep on saying. When I'm 6 feet, keep on saying. When the low peaks, keep on saying. When the ends meet, don't stop saying.
Why they think I'm way too young, girl? Why they think I'm way too young, girl?
When the plans creep, keep on Whose man's is this? Pull it to the function, I'm suited like an evangelist. Swear my life a movie, directing, watching the camera shift. Yeah, you see the fiction, my niggas lit like a candlestick. Trying to sneak in the crib, moving like Joe Pesci. Before the night is through, the old Jesse. This nigga skating, damn, I'm so Gretzky. I used to always want the old Zappies. Niggas is clean, but knowing the flow messy. Struggle meals, remember eating that white bologna. My older sister made that rice-a-roni. Damn, I probably had the diaper on me. I'm born in 88, but fam moved in 89. Then that shit was a crazy time. Catch my drift like Mike Piazza at the Mets game. Try moving with peace, but understanding the set bank. I was hella young at the barbershop when I met Kane. Conversations with Quelly is crazy, talking about that fame. Niggas is hurting, hope they healing in Godspeed. Comments all in their IG. Killer like visuals. Shit bringing teddy bears. Why they always wait till you gone to really show they care? Damn. Why these niggas wait till you gone to really show they care? Why these niggas wait till you gone to really show they care?
Yo, wrong one. Yo, what's going on?
Well, it's not triggering.
Wait, the bomb sound?
Who knows how things go?
Things can always get crazy.
Morning.
Things can always get crazy. What up, y'all? Good morning.
Morning. Oh, sorry, it's so early. I don't know why I apologize for being early, but I wanted to go tubing today.
Yes, we got our friend Sakura visiting, and we're gonna go tubing, and we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
So we decided to come early. So instead of 11, we're at 9. I'm still a little bit asleep.
No, I'm really alert and awake.
Are you really? You never say that. You don't even say that. 3 p.m. you don't say that.
I know.
But now,
I'm never.
9 a.m. That's your time.
Rest is revolutionary.
That's what's up. That's what's up, y'all. Yo, it is Saturday morning cartoon.
I always want to change it a little bit, but I never can think of how to change it when we start.
Saturday
morning cartoon.
There we go. There we go.
Space.
A little pre-planning, baby. We could change it, you know.
It's
anyway.
9 a.m. It's 9 a.m.
Oh, it's 9 a.m. What does that mean?
I can't pre-plan before it.
Okay. Yo, let's do the wheel, yo.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah, we made some slight adjustments to it.
Yeah, we made some adjustments to the wheel.
We got some very powerful and helpful feedback.
What is that noise? Oh, it's this. Okay.
07 shake.
No, that's not. Where's my sound effect for the for the wheel? There we go. All right, baby. You ready?
The wheel. Oh, it doesn't sound good at that octave. The wheel.
The wheel. Oh yeah. Reaction.
What's that too?
We watch a video, YouTube, Instagram videos.
Oh, sweet.
No.
Perfect.
Great. So what are we gonna watch?
This one video.
Which one?
That I saw earlier. One of these bad boys. About chromosomes.
Yeah.
You're talking about gender and sex and how it's not a binary. And this is a fun little.
All right, here we go.
3 minutes.
No, I think I like this one better. Dang it, I lost it.
Yeah.
Wait, which was the one that I just shared?
You posted the other.
This one. Okay.
Explains the difference between. It seems what sex is, what the binary is.
All right, guys. So we're gonna do a reaction video, and we're gonna react to this video here. Let me pull this up. Da da da. And we're gonna switch to media. Insert. All right. Yeah, buddy. What do you know?
What am I doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you in the camera? Okay. I saw you kind of.
He said, "Why are you so close to me?"
I was like,
"Could you move?"
This is a great question. We all learned in.
All right, so this is a video of this dude. Do we know anything about this guy?
Let me check real quick. He is a science man.
He speaks about.
His thing is the renegade science teacher. That's his handle. He's a scientist, educator, activist, youth speaker.
YouTuber.
He, him.
And he talks about sex and binary notions around sex and gender. And I like the way he talks about it. All right, let's just jump in.
Middle school that there are males and females in biology. So why is it that so many... This is a great question. We all learned in middle school that there are males and females in biology. So why is it that so many biologists are now coming out and saying that sex isn't really a binary system? Well, in order to understand this, we need to understand what binary means and what sex means. Binary means that there are only and exactly two options. More than two or less than two is not a binary. A binary is only two. Now, what about sex? Well, there's actually a few ways that we discuss sex in biology, but the standard template way that we define it is by gamete size. If you have lots and lots of small gametes, we call them sperm and we call you a male. If you have very few large gametes, we call those eggs and we call you a female. But right away you can see how this is a problem because this would only apply to a nisogametic species that have more than one size of gamete. There are isogametic species that only have one size of gamete but still have distinct sexes. There are anisogametic species that have more than two sizes of gamete. There are monoecious species which have two sizes of gamete that every single individual produces, and so there are no distinct sexes. And every species has individuals that don't produce any gametes at all. They're completely infertile. So how are you going to classify them based on something that they don't have? Remember, less than two and more than two isn't two. But let's forget about all that for a second, because usually when people are talking about biological sex, they're talking about sex chromosomes, or what I would call allosomes. And those come in either XX or XY, right? Well, no, that isn't the case in the vast majority of species, but whatever, it is in humans, right? Except those aren't the only options in humans either. You could have Klinefelter syndrome and have XXY. You could have Turner syndrome and have X and nothing else. And even if you want to just stick to the XXXY model, you could have a completely male body, but you have De La Chapelle syndrome, so you have XX allosomes. Or you could have a completely female body, but you have Sawyer syndrome, so you have XY allosomes. And yes, there are case studies of women with Sawyer syndrome getting pregnant and giving birth. Again, can't stress this enough, more than two options is not a binary. And I could go on and on about all the other ways we talk about sex and biology and how none of them are a binary either, but by this point you should be asking the question, why do we use this system? Why do we have this model of classification that is so full of holes and problems? And the truth is that the concept of sex is a lot like the concept of species. See, there is no set definition for what a species is. There are like a dozen different ways to classify a species. Not a single one of them works all the time. But the concept of species helps us to organize and understand life. So we use this system even though it doesn't really mesh with reality 100% of the time. Because every good biologist knows that life is way more interesting than what you could possibly write in a textbook. And biological sex works the same way. Nature does whatever it wants to do, and we come along and try to put things into boxes. And sometimes that just doesn't work, and that's fine. The simple facts remain that trans and intersex people still exist. More than two is not two, and sex is not a binary. This is a great question.
Okay.
All learned in middle school.
That's a heavy video right off the break, right at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
But it's also pretty solid.
Yeah. And not really heavy per se, but just...
Well,
get my brain
cool.
thinking
There are males and
early
females
in the dang morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. What do you think?
The first thing I like about it is, hold on, let me go full screen, guys. Ooh. All right, here we go. I think the first thing I like about Son is, that video is it's just complexity, yo. It's complexity. We don't deal with complexity, and people talk in loose and fast and cheap ways, and we commit to things that aren't real. We commit to again, what he's saying essentially when I hear him is in the textbooks, in our general mythology, in our general social understanding, we talk about this binary that there's two things, there's two ways to classify humans. And he's saying, yo, there's millions of ways to classify humans, and that they all break down at different points. Each of these classifications has their limits, and the breadth of like the human experience is way bigger than that. And so it brings back to like the convos that you and I have, or the videos I was doing too about separation and love. Like, this is an infinite, bigger, more complex, more beautiful, magical space than we understand, and these categories don't count. So I feel like you gotta bring that down. You gotta bring that down when you experience people. You have these categories, and then you bring it down, and then you experience a person.
Yeah.
Live, you know.
And that can help expand your understanding and reassess the categories you previously had
in biology. So why is it that so many biologists are now coming out and saying,
he's like, I got another thing
I got more to say, buddy. Yeah, I mean, this to me, yeah. He explained some of the other videos. I actually thought I was looking at the other one actually, but he, I think, does a pretty decent job without getting too deep and confusing, because some of this, medical biology stuff, it could feel like it's confusing when I think really you just have to realize that none of it's real. So
yeah,
it's all good.
It's all made up. And also, I think we assume it's difficult, but like whatever he explains, the two things I've seen, they're like pretty easy to understand. And I think we're just not trained, the collective to like do deeper investigation into things. But I like in the other video, he says, because I hear some people are like, XY and XX chromosomes are, the main chromosomes that people have, and that's man or woman, male or female, and that's it. And I see people getting it's basic biology, but he goes on to be like, there are a bunch of other chromosome configurations that are not that XY and XX, and so just because they're not as frequent doesn't mean they don't exist. And the idea that like these 99% of people fit into these two doesn't mean we should pretend that the other ones don't exist. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't expand our understanding of, oh, okay, maybe that's not a clean way to divide people.
Exactly.
I liked that he said in the one that we didn't watch, 99% of the atoms in the entire universe are either hydrogen or helium. But we understand living on Earth that there are a lot of other elements that are important to us specifically. A periodic table isn't just hydrogen and helium. It also includes all the other elements that we found. And we don't think of that as like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Why are you, oh, come on. It's just science. Like, yeah, it is. Our, desire to make things a binary, just two of something, is not how nature works. It's not how humans work, since we are nature. And
it's an attempt to simplify. It's an attempt to simplify in a complex, infinite field. It's an attempt to simplify, to understand and categorize.
And entrench. And
then when you can categorize and simplify and separate this way, then there are power forces at play that can like control.
Yeah.
And you can start to dictate modes of being.
And when you get people to long for simplicity, you get averse to anything that's like more complicated than what we were originally told. And
so I love the way he approaches it too, because the biology part of this is only one angle, and I think I actually stay away from the biology part quite often, because I read up on it and I have my sources, people in the medical field and scientists and such. But for me, I'm more interested in the social part, and this brings to like, apart from on top of the complexity of these categorizations biologically, socially, the truth is that most of us engage with these things socially. The way people treat women, the way people treat men, the expectations we have of men and women are different and separate in different spaces, the social burdens. And So me, that's like language, you know, and I'm into that. So that's a whole other thing, and that's kind of more like Alok. Alok kind of gets into that.
Yeah, level up. I'm gonna lower this so I can see my titties better.
Go for it, baby.
Ooh.
There it is.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Damn, look at them titties.
Perfect. What the people really wanted to know.
They're really here for that, yo.
Yeah.
So,
I have a binary of titties. Only two.
Binary of titties. Okay, there we go.
I like to, you know, when I learn a new word or learn a new understanding of it, I try to apply it to other things so I can really wrap my head around it.
2 titties.
Only 2 titties.
Yeah.
Look at them titties, yeah.
What'd you say?
Sex isn't really a binary.
Oh, where we at?
Damn, look at them titties.
Great.
God damn.
There's a lot of damn here.
Yeah.
Damn, son, where'd you find
Do
this?
we use damn a lot in real life, like when we regularly speak? Damn.
I do. Kind of.
Yeah, I do. I do say that a lot. It's true.
So go ahead and tell us why.
That in Japan, you know, they stereotype like if you impersonate like an American, they're like, "Oh my god," and we do say that a lot.
That's the Japanese impersonation of an American.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh
yeah.
my god, isn't that like so interesting? Like, yeah, we are always freaking out about something. We are always just in disbelief. And so I don't know why the, you know, confusion there is around gender and lots of other new things that are you know, getting more traction, why people are like, you know, thinking it's different than how we've always been. I think Americans clearly, we've always been confused and like, what? Oh my god! Oh,
we've always been confused.
Yeah, obviously, like, if enough for like people in other countries to stereotype us as being like, whoa, like always losing our shit. Like, it obviously isn't just a new thing. I think I hear a lot around like gender ideology, the new understandings of gender, that it's like a new thing and it's gonna confuse everyone, which I think implies that we weren't all fucking confused before, and that's just not true.
Yeah, the conversation's all trash. It's all weird. You know, there's so many different forces. I think there's a lot of genuine confusion, which is why it's interesting for me to like, for us, I like getting into this conversation. But then there's also trickery and bullshit. And there's people who are really bad faith and are really attempting to control and
who really liked the idea of like, great, women are the ones you kind of have sex with and you kind of disregard when they're speaking and roll your eyes with your dude friends, and men are the ones that when you want a job done right, you get the men. And like, now that these, you know, we're expanding our understandings of these categories and reassessing their usefulness, people are like, no, come on, they worked fine, but like they didn't.
Yeah, that's the challenge, yo.
Okay.
And that's the. You want to go Alok?
Yeah. Is that what you had said?
We're still on review. Let's do a review. Let's do one more video in the review segment. What's Alok? Which one should we?
So you guys don't really a thing he's speaking, but this is a good one too.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, so let me just come in and put Alok up here.
Yeah. So cute. They're so cute.
I have mentioned
Alok before.
Alok more than a few times actually. Media, insert cam, bang. This is the one.
Real stiff right now.
Why you so stiff?
I don't know. I slept weird. I'm in my mid-30s now, so I'm
in my late 30s, bruh.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Late 30s, no stiffness.
Are you whispering?
Do I sound like I'm whispering?
Yeah. I feel like your volume's
weird.
Yeah, weirder than usual, and I just want to check on that.
You know, I think it's because like Sakura's in the other room. I don't want to be like screaming, but she's literally watching.
Yeah,
I know.
We're all good.
But I feel like that's my natural empathy. I'm like, I don't want to disturb her from watching this show right now.
Interesting.
Okay, I'll try to speak louder.
I'll do your thing. This is Alok, yo.
Yes, fierce. Fierce.
That's Sakura. You're laughing. Alok's a non-binary person, and
they're a poet.
They're a poet and a comedian and a writer, obviously, and a lot of things, you know. And they post themselves. They are boastful and free about them. Not boastful, but free in the way that we all are. It's just, you know, it's a different expression, right? This is an expression that doesn't fit for me in the way I operate in the world. It doesn't fit for a lot of women too. You know what I mean? So there's no category. What Alok does is what Alok does. It's unique, and there's just a lot of confusion around that. And obviously, you know, they speak openly about having a hairy body and all of these things. When people, like, some people will hit them up and go, you know, if you're gonna pretend to be a woman, at least shave or some shit like that.
Yeah, you look more like a woman if you shave. And they're like, I'm not trying to look like a woman. I'm trying to look like me. What's your preoccupation with how me should look? And love those jellies. I'm gonna get some jellies for summer.
Let's do a react here. Let's see. I didn't see this, so I don't know what my man's about to say. But here we go.
My human. And it's also a look, like a joke.
Alok. Got it.
I'm non-binary, which means it's not just that I'm challenging the binary between male, female, man, woman, but between us and them. And in your statement, you said, why don't I help them, as if this struggle is not your struggle too? The reason you don't fight for me is because you're not fighting for yourself fully. And any movement that's trying to emancipate men from the shackles of heteropatriarchy, or emancipate women from traditional gender ideology, has to have trans and non-binary people at the forefront, because we are actually the most honest. We're tracing the root. Where do these ideas of manhood and womanhood come from? They come from a binary structure. And so that's why people like me, who are visibly gender nonconforming, who are both feminine and masculine and none of the above, we experience the brunt of all of these collective fantasies that were created that are killing other people, that are also killing us. It just looks different. And so one of the things that I try to do in my work is say, don't show up for me because you want to protect me or you want to help me. I don't need your help. I have an unshakable and irrevocable sense of who I am, because I am divine. I come from people who were exterminated and targeted by colonists, because the gender binary, and we can get into this, was superimposed on Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color by European colonists. And the reason that they targeted us is because they knew our power, right? So the reason that there's so much animus against me is because of my power. I don't need to be legitimized, or I don't have anything to prove. What I want us to rephrase the conversation is, are you ready to heal? And I don't think the majority of people are ready to heal. And that's why they repress us as trans and gender variant people, because they've done this violence to themselves first. They've repressed their own femininity. They've repressed their own gender nonconformity. They've repressed their own ambivalence. They've repressed their own creativity. And so when they see us have the audacity to live a life without compromise, where we say there are no trade-offs, where we say we actually get to carve in the marrow of this earth and create our own goddamn beauty, instead of saying thank you for teaching me another way to live, they try to disappear us because they did that to themselves first. So I guess I would rephrase your question to be, can you help me get free? Not, can you help me help you? I'm non-binary, which means it's not.
I don't know what the question was originally there, but
it was, can the person was asking, can you, Alok, help me help you? How can I help you better? And Alok said, help me, like the question should be, Alok, can you help me get free? You know, he's saying that they're saying that
help me, the cisgender man. Who was the question? Exactly,
that helping a non-binary person, how to help them, be an ally to them, like it's also a cis person's struggle, repression that, you know, they are projecting onto them. Like, you can't, you know, look like that. You know, you can't do that. You have to be one of these two things. Is the same repression they've, you know, directed towards themselves. Like, what other ways have you made yourself small so you could fit into a box that someone else, you know, said you had to choose from? And so it's the idea that it's like all of our struggles rather than just. And another interesting thing that, you know, they said was the idea of how the binary was superimposed, you know, forced on communities of color by Europeans. And I think a lot of times I hear that, you know, all this new gender stuff, you know, homosexuality, queerness is a white thing, you know, and it's the opposite. It was a black thing, it was an indigenous thing, a brown thing, and they saw the power of it, and so tried to force us into these, like, you know, I'm a man, so I'm masculine, I don't talk about my feelings, I do these certain types of jobs, I relate to other men and to women in certain ways. And has that really fucking helped? Are we happy? You know, like, we have such high rates of suicide and other things that prevent us from thriving. And I think the repression we have in this one seemingly, you know, small area of gender bleeds into all the other areas of our life. And I like the challenge to be creative and to be, you know, intentional about creating a life for yourself. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I do too. I think
I love this orange, like,
this joint here.
moo thing.
You have this one here. I think you have this.
Do I?
What's the colorful one you have? You don't have this thing in the colorful joint, Sheba? I was joking, talking about it looks like the motherfucker from Cats. The dudes from the Cats Broadway show.
Griddly bits or whatever. That coat is fire. And
so is the motherfucker from Cats. That dude was on top of like a thing with the smoke.
I've never seen Cats.
That's great.
But I love when you, like, low-key just drop you, like, remember this Broadway musical? Like, no, babe, I haven't seen that, but I love that you have, you know?
Cats is the longest running Broadway musical.
Wow, he's a Cats promoter now. Holy moly.
Can I just, what's that?
When we were in New York and I was wearing that coat,
yeah, this
person seemingly experiencing homelessness was like,
that's right,
you look like Living Color.
That's
right. And I was like, oh, yeah. I remember that. Thank you. I don't know what you mean, but love.
He said it like twice.
Exactly, when we went into the store when we came out. And then I think he came into the store and he was like, hey, Living Color.
Jesus. Anyway. That's hilarious. Yeah. So one more thing before maybe we wheel or break here. I think that I love everything you just said. I think I want to add to that, you know, in some of my circles, just a couple years ago, you know, a man who dresses like this would be categorized as something's wrong with him, mentally ill.
It's gay.
Well, not just gay, but mentally ill. You know, that's something too, that there's something fundamentally incompatible with this somehow.
Sanity, you know, means if you were identified as a man at birth, as a boy, then you have to grow up and wear pants and black, and, you know, you can't color your hair, you can't wear makeup, you can't wear jewelry.
Can't wear these shoes, blah, blah, blah. I wrote a whole thing on my website. The piece is called Who Are We Anyway?
Plug.
Where I talk a little bit about just clothing, gendered clothing and this and that, you know, and I try to say, you know, if a piece of clothing, like if you take this clothing, let's say you call this a feminine clothing, you cut it up, re-stitch it, and make it a pair of pants, would it be acceptable then? You know, if it was blue, would it be acceptable then for a man to wear it? If you stitch it and make it a handkerchief or a dress, you put sleeves on it, now it's masculine. How dumb is that? How stupid is that? Not only is that stupid, but then when you listen to this person, you realize that they're not mentally ill at all. This is a very lucid and intelligent, self-aware person who's articulating their understanding of themselves. They actually seem to understand themselves way better than most of us do.
And that's what I think they're saying a lot. Like, you know, I think they're saying that, like, you guys who struggle with how I present, y'all are the ones who might be mentally ill. You know, you are the ones whose brains are struggling.
Well, if you think that a child is born and that their life track has to be determined by things like colors and certain stitches of fabrics,
their genitalia necessitates that they have to wear a certain type of clothing, which is ridiculous anyway that we wear clothing.
If you think that, you know, the only reason that that's normal is because there's a collective delusion around that. It's not anything beyond that. And it's a collective delusion that I fuck with. Like, I don't, you know, that's not my expression. And I'm kind of moving into colors more, you know, even I'm typically sort of in a grayscale, blue, you know, kind of area, white shirt, you know. So
why is that?
But why? Exactly. I don't fully know. I have to explore it fully. I know it has something to do with just staying unseen, kind of staying in the back and not, you know, I don't want to
draw attention to yourself.
I want to draw attention to myself generally. I'm not a big, like, logos and big flashy colors anyway. But also certainly not the fabrics and such, or the stitching, the dress. I don't wear dresses.
I think it goes into what we were talking about last time about, like, you know, that senator who was twerking. Like, people are like, oh, why are you drawing attention to yourself? The idea of, like, drawing attention to yourself, the idea that that would be a bad thing, even though we know when our attention is on something, like, we work on that thing. It gets done. Someone's need gets met when someone pays attention to them. So the idea that, you know, you chose your you know, style based on the desire to, like, not draw attention to yourself, I think is something a lot of people, certainly in the Black community, maybe have done as a, you know, reaction, like a generational trauma to, like, back when, you know, after slavery, there were these vagrancy laws. So if you were, you know, standing around, if a white person saw you, you could be arrested and get right back into slavery, having to work. If, you know, they saw you, like, if they noticed you, that could be their time to let out all of their, you know, frustrations and insecurities and fears onto someone they've been told they're allowed to do that to.
Yeah. Well, Black people are very colorful. Black people are very, you know, exuberant and creative with their style. I just don't like, I wasn't, and I know that the men in my spaces definitely weren't. It was part of the definition was, like, this kind of, like, this Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson used to come in and he wasn't flashy. You know, you had the what's his name, Mayweather types who would come in with the gold trim and all that, and then you had guys like Mike Tyson who just come in with black shorts, quietly just fuck you up and leave, you know. And I guess I affiliated more with that because I just thought that was cooler or whatever. I don't know.
I think that's what more Black people, you know, Black men certainly go more with a, let me, you know, what's everyone else wearing? We're all wearing gray shirts? Okay, cool. Great. I don't think most people dress like Floyd Mayweather. Not that I know what he looks like, no, dresses like. But I think my analogy still stands. I think it's like, you know, our mothers, our grandmothers, you know, they told us, like, don't stand out. Why are you wearing a dress? You're a boy. Like, they're going to notice you. Like, you're drawing attention to yourself. And we've internalized that as, like, a natural, a protective thing. And when we see people like Alok, we're like, why are you drawing attention to yourself? Tiara Mack, why are you drawing attention to yourself? And I think there's nothing wrong with, not only is there nothing wrong with drawing attention to yourself, the idea that when someone is wearing something colorful, it's because I want people to look at me. Like, I don't think that's why flowers, you know, or trees, you know, are green and, you know, have all this color and stuff, because they're like, look at me, they're just being.
Yeah.
And we're so unused to just being.
Yeah. Cool. That's that. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll spin the wheel one more time, okay?
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. Let me get this going.
Stuck in the middle. I have been pushed, I have been pulled. There is no leading me no more astray. I have been pushed, I have been pulled. There is no need. I walk these streets peace amongst lost souls. I know there is no space for doubt no more. It's all written, that's how it goes. No point in resisting the flow. Getting your energy low. Worrying about things that you can't control. Had to dip out and into my zone. Listen closely, what's that sound? Rising up from the underground. The heads ain't lost, but it ain't been found. Ain't in the habit of sticking around. Ain't in the habit of sticking around. Stuck in the middle. I have been pushed and I've been pulled. There is no fooling me no more. No way. I have been pushed and I've been pulled. You have no say no more. I walk these lands with open mind and eyes. I find the more conclusions, the more I just feel confined. No more wasting time on your negative vibes. Trying to stay aligned. I'm trying to stay aligned, stay aligned. Listen closely, what's that sound? Rising up from the underground. The heads ain't lost, but it ain't been found. Ain't in the habit of sticking around. Ain't in the habit of sticking around. Listen closely, what's that sound? Rising up from the underground. The heads ain't lost, but it ain't been found. Ain't in the habit of sticking around. Ain't in the habit of sticking around. No, no, no. I have been pushed, I have been pushed, I have been pushed, I have been pulled. I have been pushed, I have been. Trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to like, I'm looking at the weather. I'm just trying to like wrap my head around. We want to go tube on a river. If it's like thunderstorming.
Have we done tubes? Have we tubed in Baltimore?
Yeah, that's where we
The last
usually
one?
go. Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're all in Baltimore? The first time we went was in Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not like in the city, but you know, it's maybe about 20 minutes from here.
Yeah, man, tubing is dope. I got introduced to tubing 3 years ago by this person, this lovely lady.
It's great. So cute.
She was dope. And then when she first described it to me, I was like, what? 3 hours sitting down, I guess, whatever. I didn't
Yeah,
get it.
I was like, basically you sit in a tube and this natural lazy river just, you know, takes you down.
Yeah.
I like that you're so inclined. Like, I'll be like, I want to do this thing. It's weird. And like, I can't, my explanation won't do it justice, but you want to do it? And like, you're typically like, yeah.
Yeah. My first response was a little confusion, and I was kind of, my mindset was on this, every moment was, you know, about efficiency and trying to have some production. I wanted to, you know,
like fun.
I'm awake and I need to create something. I need to write. I need to, you know, but also I realized that any invitation from you was an amazing time. So
yay.
Went out there, and now it's something that it's like a must do at least once a year. So looking forward to it.
I feel like I've, in the past, like when I'm like, hey, I want to do this cool thing, who wants to come with me? A lot of times it's like women who will be like, yes, definitely. And I think a lot of times, I don't know if this is like a gender thing that like dudes are taught, but like taught to be like rigid in the thing. You're like, you know, are we at work? Are we watching a game? No, I don't want to do this thing then. It's like, I think we miss out, you know, like with the clothing, you know, I think patriarchy traps dudes in this idea of like what they can look like, how they can, you know, interact with other people, how they can, you know, be.
Yeah, it's more than clothing. That's the thing about it. Once you realize it, you have this absurd, unnecessary, enforced social rigidity.
Yeah.
And the clothing thing that Alok is challenging is just one aspect. It's there's all kinds of modes of being that fall under sort of being a man, and that are burdens really, that are anchors rather than they're not necessarily orienting you. They're actually like stopping you from being whatever you could be. So yeah. Now I don't know if like for me it was, I grew up in the city, whatever. We didn't have a lot of nature activities. So I don't know how. So that might be more to the point of why I didn't do it, but the anxiety around it, let's say, might be that. It's kind of like a tight, well, I haven't done it before. This isn't me, But I like to do new shit. You know what I'm saying? I like to. Here's opportunity to. This cruise we just did. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. But how about?
Yeah, I wonder how, people in New York in the 90s, someone who maybe dressed like Alok and looked sort of like Alok, looked like a masculine body in a dress or something, in a colorful dress, how they might have been treated in
the 90s. It probably wouldn't have been good. No. Back then, I don't know how much it is today, I guess. Depends on what part of the country we're talking about. You said Brooklyn, so Brooklyn 2022, I imagine it might be better.
Much better.
But back then, even just a little bit of like certain effeminate postures and effeminate body movements and the limp wrist or whatever. I mean, those things get called out. Those things get mocked. I've witnessed
violence meted against it.
Yeah, violence in different forms. Maybe not the typical blunt violence, but the kind of just being, I don't know, a kind of posture might draw attention, and then you'll be called out as different. You know what I'm saying? And it's important for other people to kind of validate. This is where the affirming stuff comes from, right? Because, I've been in that position as a friend of the person being called out, being othered for something as simple as a posture, as simple as what would we call an effeminate energy, let's say. It's like, oh, he's sugar in his tank. Like, to affirm that person, say that expression is also valid. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean? What are all the...
When I learned that sugar in the tank, that phrase, I was like, what? Sugar makes everything better. And then our friend Shantae was like, that particular phrase, when you put, it ruins the engine or whatever. I was like, oh, what a terrible saying then, that, if you're gay, you're ruined. Like,
well, you ruin the car. There's sugar in the tank. You gotta get the sugar out of the tank. It also has this implication that it's something that can be corrected. You know what I'm saying? It's something that can be or should be, and then, you call it out. I don't know, man. It's all kinds of weird stuff, but shout to people who like figure it all out, navigate the shit, and come out with their own shit.
That's brave. It's safe and compliant, or what's that? Conforming to be like, okay, what's everyone else wearing? Let me make sure I do that, so that I don't get made fun of. So people don't think I'm different. That's the worst thing. People thinking I'm different.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's crazy how there's safety in that. Like the line between a reasonable choice for safety and then some kind of like something where you would mock and go, oh, come on, you're a follower, is a blurry one, and I don't know who can judge it really. I
think the idea that like, you can be safe or you can be free, like, I think that might be the choice that people might have to make. And like we're taught to be so attuned to seek safety and comfort and, ease, that the idea of being free is like, oof, will it be difficult? Will I be unsafe? Then never mind.
Free means necessarily uncharted. It doesn't, you have to make the choice to go uncharted, but that uncharted things are available to the free person. Unknown paths are available to the free person, and that's just scary, and I get it. And so shout out to people who figure that out, because we're all our paths are literally 100% unique, and as unique as each of our bodies, and as unique as our neural networks, and as unique as like those stars that telescope recently, those galaxies that were like photographed. Like this whole thing is completely miraculously individual, and everyone has that right. Every expression deserves love. You know what I mean? So That's how we are now. Can we spin the wheel on this?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, my bad. What were you saying?
No. Does every expression helps tell us more about ourselves? You're like, oh, that's available to me.
I think that's right too.
That's available to me. Interesting.
Yeah, or exactly, or not, like whatever.
I think I would really struggle to understand, like, why, if the or not, why?
That's available to me. Yes.
Why am I saying this isn't available to me?
See, even can I flip that even on the downside too? So let's say something is available to you. So wearing high heels is available to me, and I might call that neutral, as a choice. But this kind of thinking helps, I think, in another space because even terrible people, so some terrible mass shooter or a person like a serial rapist like Jeffrey Epstein or something like this.
R. Kelly,
to be able to say to, what'd you say?
Bill Cosby. Just noting other famous serial rapists.
The ability to incorporate that too.
Absolutely.
Freedom and honesty also means to say that's also available to me too. That to be honest, that I'm not some perfect person who gets it all right and is
And understanding if I had the power that these people had, serial rape might be available to me.
It's available to you.
That's how
a part
power
of life.
works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be aware of that, like rather than to like oh those people are disgusting and
their victims should have protected themselves better. I think a lot of times when we think about these serial, we kind of put ourselves in the shoes of the rapist. Like, well, where was that kid's parents? Why would they go up to that person's room? They could have left and they didn't. And it's like, what?
Yeah, that does happen. You're right. Yeah, and it's shitty. I think it's because a lot of times people they go right to I don't know.
We see ourselves more as we align more with the famous or the rich person.
There's that.
That's what we've been taught to like. Are they rich?
There's also this sense that there's nothing you can do about that. And it's all about like focus on what the other person, like focus on your prevention.
What can the victim do? Because
that person is beyond sort of understanding. They're just disgusting. And I think again, if you actually look into it, you get a better sense that no, they're actually that's a human expression too. That is the product of
the circumstances of it.
Circumstances,
aren't so
a whole set
unique.
of myths, a whole set of ideas, a whole set of structures of power. And if we could break it down like that, you realize that then it becomes accessible and it's something you can actually work on and mitigate from that end rather than telling people to be careful.
Absolutely.
You ready to spin this motherfucker?
Let's spin this motherfucking wheel.
Film critic.
Can we do another one? I don't know if I don't want to see another video right now.
Imagine. I'll have to be back on you, baby.
Oh man.
Do you have the energy? You want to spin again?
Let's see what else. I want to do one that we've never done before.
Spin the wheel.
What's one we've never done?
We're just gonna keep spinning till we get something brand new. Travel. We've done that before.
We've done a travel story, which is really good.
Spin the wheel.
All right.
Oh, I gotta do this every time. Story go.
Done that one. Oh my god, so good. All right. Let's see.
Questions.
I don't know if we did questions.
Oh, what is questions again?
I was thinking it was just like we can ask a question that can maybe lead to a story. A question about the other person that leads to a story, maybe. So like, when was the first time, or like, what do you remember about the first time you consciously changed your behavior in order to fit in or be safer, to feel safe? Let's take a second to think about that kind of loaded question.
Yikes.
It's loaded like a baked potato.
I don't know about...
Hot.
I don't know about loaded, but that's an interesting one. Let me think here. First time I
remember, changing your behavior in order to fit in and feel safe.
Yeah, it would have to be. So I know when I spent like ages 8 through 10 living on Essex Street in Brooklyn in New York. New Lights Avenue. It was a pretty rough neighborhood. Saw like multiple shootings. And I got into fights a lot. And I think that had to be, it's got to be somewhere in that space. You know, I think, obviously, by now I'm like 7, 8, 9, so there's probably earlier examples of other things, but this one sticks out. It's just like, I had to be more aggressive. I had to be more, it taught me to be tougher. It taught me to smile less. My stepdad told me that explicitly as a reaction to this one fight I had that got pretty rough. I mean, I got my licks in, but I think might have been jumped that time. I'm not sure. It was such a rough time. And through that, just developed a whole different persona of being tough, being this thug. Like, I really set out in the world with anger and a kind of like distrust, and I, you know, changed my gait, changed my cadence, my entire, you know, energy to be like, don't fuck with me. And that worked. And I was able to do that. I was able to kind of navigate that, you know. So, but I know, like, I've realized now at 39 that I have that capacity, that kind of like ability to be malleable in that way, or I've had that. And I think we all have it to different degrees, but for some people it's really difficult. It speaks to the other stuff too. So, yeah. So even like, for instance, I have friends who are tough and are men and are this and all kinds of things, but I'm thinking of this one friend, my boy Alan, man. He speaks. He's like, hey man, what's going on, guys? All right, how we doing? He speaks like a typical white guy, you know? And we used to make fun of him for that.
Is he a white guy?
No, he's a black guy. He's a big black guy. He's like 5'10", stocky, huge. He used to bench 350, you know? He was a massive football player guy and really strong. But he's like, all right, guys, I'm going to the gym. I'll see you later. All right, see you guys. And he was a big church dude, and he went to church a lot. and he was always talking about God. But his voice was like that. And that's just how he spoke, you know? Yeah. But what happened was, when you first meet Alan, it stuck out, like, and you didn't expect that voice to come out of him. Mm-hmm. And then as you get to know him, you're like, oh, that's who he is. That's love. Like, you know, he didn't have to, I don't know if he could shift too much to match the surroundings in Brooklyn as we took the trains to Brooklyn Tech and shit. So
I think what he could change, probably couldn't change his voice too much, but he could change his physical presentation like you did, you know? Like, he's like, if I'm gonna sound like this and I'm gonna be about God and peace and shit, I have to at least look like it's difficult to fuck with me, you know? Like, people will have to find an easier target than me.
Yeah, that's all possible. Real talk.
Cool. Okay, so how do you want to draw that?
Yeah, how do you want to draw that? Interesting.
Am
I gonna go here? Boom. I gotta rearrange these scenes here.
There's all different windows.
How do we draw that? How do we draw that?
Blender. Now this
So I'm
program
gonna open
is
Blender.
It's free and I don't know, it updates often, and it's a good way to learn how to do the things that Billy does.
Blender is fire. Hot fire. I would totally suggest you get into that ASAP. And it's free. Are you kidding me? They're making movies. They have Netflix movies with this program.
Ooh.
This program's been out for 20 some odd years, maybe 30. 20 some odd years.
I was like, it's almost as old as mine.
I know, yeah. And it's just been getting better and better, and it's really good right now. And it's free. So
love that. The price is right.
What are we drawing here, baby? We're drawing a scene of when, that was an interesting question. When was the first time you
consciously changed your behavior in order to fit in and feel safe?
Yeah. Interesting. So what can we do creatively here?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Maybe, can it be kind of a self-portrait of who you really are, or like were? Okay.
Oh, no.
I don't know how you're going to draw all this, but perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay. Little cute baby Billy as you are, and then a mirror, like you're standing in the mirror looking at the image of who you want to be, of who you want to, you know, who you want other people to see you as. Draw that.
I don't know.
Okay, that's just one way to go. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me see here. Since we're talking about something in childhood in Brooklyn, let me start with like some buildings. Let me just start there and let's see what happens.
Love it. Canarsie.
Canarsie.
I'm gonna see what like Canarsie means.
Alright. I'm gonna download this joint here.
Canarsie was a native tribe, Canarsie Native Americans. The community's name is adapted from a Lenape word meaning fenced area.
Really?
Did it feel like you were in a fenced area in some ways when you were living in Canarsie?
No.
Oh, okay, great. Great.
So Canarsie is not like New Lodge where I was. That was a different spot. But Canarsie is where I moved right after. So middle school, moved to 85th Street. Let me just put this over here. What I'm looking at here. Oh, Canarsie homes.
When he dropped you off on East 83rd. Oh,
I want to get a street in here.
You're a native New Yorker.
Is that the song?
Yeah. You should know the score by now. You're a native New Yorker. Yeah, I was like, you were 2 blocks away from the street mentioned in that song? Wow.
What street?
East 83rd.
So funny.
Was it East?
It was East.
Wow.
I don't know, man. New Lodge, Brooklyn. Let's see if we get something here. Okay. All right. This is very reminiscent. I know exactly where we are here. Let me pull this in, and let's get it popping. We're gonna add an image. It's gonna be an image is plain. We're going desktop. Oh, where did I put that? There we are. All right. So we're gonna put that. In fact, let's just go with that. Boom. And put a little music on in the back.
Sometimes I get, like, I go down a hole of, like, the names of things. What's the town of New Lodge?
Wait, you get into a hole with the name of things?
Yeah. East New York was founded as the town of New Lodge in the 1650s. It was annexed to the 26th ward of the rapidly growing city of Brooklyn in 1886 and became part of New York City in 1898.
Okay. I'm doing a kind of a general thing out here. Outlines. I'm gonna get the
Did you know that? Okay, so there's a tribe of Indians called the Canarsie Indians. There's also a Rockaway tribe.
Yeah.
Man, everything in, I guess we did, you know, not we did really take that from the indigenous there. And the Jamaica Indians. I was wondering why there's a part called Jamaica there. I was like, is it like the country? It's not.
No, it's not the country.
Kel Chris. Does that mean who is Chris? Sorry, that's a lot of questions.
Yeah, right?
I know.
You're trying to...
Sorry, the wheel was questions, and now I can't stop.
I think it's what, Chris, actually?
Oh, is it French?
Which Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, Chris. This one.
You knew it was French. Because you said it was the other one. Girl, you know what?
Billy is the French speaker. That's another thing he pretends he's not. Very good.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I speak French, y'all. I don't pretend. I just don't have
Parlez-vous français,
opportunity. Like,
y'all?
who's gonna talk to me in French?
Je t'aime. Quel est-il? Pomme de terre. Billy Manon.
This is not what you always try to do.
Mais j'y suis le grand musique.
Alright, so I got that set up there. Okay. I am adjusting.
It's hot in here.
They are hot now. You want to turn the AC on?
I think it'll come back on. I wonder how that auto works when it comes back on. It's always when I'm like about to die of heat exhaustion that it's like,
Okay. So I'm gonna draw this scene here.
cool. All right, little Billy, being so cute and so sweet.
Being so cute and so sweet. My father's so cute, so sweet. We'll try it.
Maybe last month, 2 months ago, we went up to New York and spent time with these two women who first met Billy when they were in the 3rd grade, and one of the women's mom loved Billy, like, of course, since 3rd grade, and so, you know, she invited us to her house and had this big dinner for us, and they like reminisced about, you know, what is that, elementary school? It was so cute. It was so sweet, and it was so beautiful to see like people who knew you when you were a kid and were able to be like, you're the same 3 decades later.
Yeah, they're awesome. I'm glad we got to see them.
I have this idea of like, we're kind of most ourselves when we're a kid, before the world keeps telling us like, no, this is who you should be. Like, be anyone but yourself. Be this person. It's for your own good. Be this. And I think a lot of our work as adults is to get back to, you know, little Billy, little Sheba, and little whoever you are.
Get back to that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
While also, like, navigating life, yeah?
Yeah, you know, how do you stay true to yourself and, you know, be relatively safe and maximally free, you know?
I like that, Bo.
Did we turn off the AC? Is that what's going on?
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying.
Alright, pass out. Keep drawing. Keep drawing.
No passing. Okay. Take care of yourself out there, homie. I'm just trying to put some base colors down.
Man, I gotta get one of those fans. They're great for dramatic effect and they're functional. Makeshift one.
Check the... Wait, no turn that.
No, I'm good.
Good.
This one is less dramatic. I wish it swapped out.
You doing me? See?
I'm trying to do both of us,
I
but
appreciate that. I'm actually okay with this. Do this. Whose man's is this? Okay, yeah.
I'm interested in what this is gonna be.
Me too. That's what I always say. I'm interested in how this turns out.
Did you draw as a kid?
I did. And it was a good time. I actually had like an art thing, like an art scholarship that happened where I went to Pratt Institute, which was in Manhattan.
What?
Yeah.
When was that?
This was middle school. So I went to Mark Twain, which is a Coney Island middle school, and we had an art class, and the art teacher had a couple of us apply for this thing, and I did it, and I applied, and I got it, and for about 6 weeks, I would have to take the train out to Manhattan and get instruction from like one of their instructors. It was pretty cool.
That's really cool. Dope, babe.
Thanks, babe.
There must have been a time where you felt like you had to maybe choose, maybe falsely kind of, between being an artist and being like a jock. Classic High School Musical scenario. Which you probably haven't seen because...
No. But, no, I didn't actually. For me it was easy. My passion was football at that time. I wanted to be good at football. I really kind of stopped trying. Not just because of football, just because of everything. Just it wasn't exciting for me at that time in my life. You know?
It wasn't a way, you didn't see that as being a way out.
That's probably it too, you know? Being oriented like that, where everything is about, you know, what can make money or blah, 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 this kind of thing puts you at a disadvantage to try. So that sucks. Like everybody's trying, like, yo, you're thinking about things that aren't real. You're thinking about
a future that's contingent on having money, and so you have to kind of get rid of all the things that like in Sister Act 2, when Lauryn Hill's mom was like, girl, why are you wasting all your time on this silly singing stuff? That's not gonna get you out of here. You need to go to school.
Sister Act 2.
You know, the mom from that is now on, what is that called? Abbott Elementary. They're up for a bunch of Emmys and stuff, which is awesome. Anyway, though, but yeah, I think many of us, you know, in this society are taught to kind of not do things for fun, to only, you know, put your real effort into things that are going to make you money. That's interesting.
That's seen as like a smart thing to do, but what does that mean then, you know? It's not just about like what to do, like how you're spending your time. And this again goes to the other, it's just another way of constricting the behavior. You know, you should behave in ways that will be acceptable to people, not just people, but particularly people who have money, particularly employers, you know, shit like this. Stay away from things that might, you know, jeopardize that. That's true even into adulthood. So, you know, we talk about engaging in different conversations, you know, people stay away from things. Like, oh, let me just keep it safe and not deal. But I don't know. I feel like I wanna engage and I wanna talk about shit. So I'm diving in. Fuck it.
Yeah, yo.
Look.
A lot of my inspirations growing up and now people who, you know, were like, I'm gonna be me, and I don't care if you don't get it. I don't care if people tell me, you know, it's not gonna make you money or blah, blah, blah. And they do their thing and it works. I think, yeah, it's really cool. Really cool orientation.
That's why you gotta like, that's why you see the support in the same way. Like people who get that, who aren't, this is exactly what they're saying. Like if you haven't done if you resist your own being small, then you have greater understanding and empathy for people like Alok and others.
Who are like,
you're more open to the thing because you understand, you see it.
I see, you know, the anger that Alok experiences, the fate is that people project onto him. I see them angry at like, hey, I made myself small. I made myself invisible to be safe. Why won't you? And not seeing that like, you shouldn't have had to do that, but like, you don't have to continue doing that. You can be as big as the trees. You can be you. And you don't have to exist to be pleasing to other people's eyes or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it, isn't
And
it?
I keep saying people like Alok, RuPaul, Dolly Parton, being themselves and being loved and accepted and rewarded for that. That's what I want to do.
That's what I want to do, yes. To get up in the morning and be yourself.
Yeah.
And really, I think the key to it though is to not, you mentioned like being rewarded and being loved and things like this. Like that can come, but I think the key is to not really seek that. The key is to seek understanding of the self actually.
Maybe change your understanding of what being rewarded for something is. You know, freedom is the reward for loving yourself, being yourself. And I think you find, you know, the people who, you know, your chosen family, the people you love you, not this image of you that you've been projecting to feel safe. You know, they can actually love you.
Yeah, buddy. So then let me ask you then, Sheebs. Let's flip it while we're here. I'm gonna ask you the same question. What was the first time that you did something to make yourself small that you can remember?
I have to go to the bathroom. Honest, this coffee is running through me. So I'll be right back, but I will ponder that question.
Yeah.
I'll do it. All right. embarrassing. I had to change my behavior to fit in or feel safe. Was I guess when first time? Yeah, I guess it was maybe when I was at YMCA camp in DC, kind of a camp for, I don't want to say low income kids, but I think it was just very cheap and free summer camp. And I was probably like 6 or so, and we went to this, we walked from the YMCA to this park, and it's the middle of the summer in DC, super fucking hot. And our counselors, who were probably like, now that I think they're probably like maybe 14 or 15 years old, the counselors were like, hey, if you guys are hot, you know, feel free to take off your shirt. And I was like, oh, thank God. So I took off my shirt, and as I started jiggling, one of the counselors yanked my shirt down and was like, what are you doing? I was like, you said we could take our shirts off, we're hot. And they were like, well, not you. You can't do that. I was like, why? And they're like, because you have breasts. And I, a very smart and precocious 6-year-old, was like, no, I don't. I have nipples. They're called nipples. Which I immediately, they burst out laughing. And I was like, oh no. Do they not care that I know the difference between breasts and nipples? Why was I supposed to know that, like, I wasn't allowed to have, like, you know, be comfortable, you know? So that was the first time I learned, like, because one day I might have breasts, I have to be hot and fucking sticky and can't, you know, be comfortable.
So you didn't have breasts then? They weren't?
No, I was 6.
Okay. Oh, okay, you were 6. Okay.
You know, I was a child, and I didn't realize that there was, you know, even as a child, you're supposed to conform to gender standards.
Like, cover your titties up!
Yeah, I was like, what? Why on earth? Like, everyone looks the same, you know? We're all flat-chested children, you know? And so that was, like, kind of the first time I realized that, you know, what other people, you know, they tell us is intuitive, you know, is really not. It's a learned behavior. And I'm sure, you know, I hear a lot, you know, it's to protect you. Like, they're like, no, it's not. You know, if dudes can walk around with their titties out, they're purely decorational, nipples out, like, why couldn't I?
Yeah.
And if, you know, that's why I love New York City, because it's legal to for men and women to be topless in New York City. So when I'm there, I try to free these titties, as I should. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you damn with them titties?
A few more times, yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
You told me that before. I think, yeah, it's just the air we breathe, you know?
Yeah, and we teach it to, you know, adults teach it to children teach it to younger children, and, you know, I think 6-year-old Sheba was right, you know, was like, oh, sweet, I'm hot and uncomfortable, and these made-up things are exacerbating that. Sweet, take off the thing that is shackling you. And people were like, nope, sorry, you're a woman. Discomfort is your life. Like, might as well get used to it now. Fuck. Making yourself smaller for other people's comfort is gonna be your life. So,
yeah, man.
get into it.
That's wild. You know, obviously I did not have that experience.
But when you were hot, when you were a kid, you took off your shirt.
Yeah. I mean, obviously in school or whatever, we had different rules, but yeah, y'all have an extra burden with that. And I always said it, I don't know who can justify that for real, on any reasonable grounds. It's just an obvious indication of people, of a power structure, and of people like we get distracted by titties. We get distracted by titties, and so it's an opportunity to, like, put it away. And the fact that yours would be, again, you said mine is decorational. It is. My nipples are decorational. Your nipples have potential for life.
They're functional.
And they're real. So which of the two of us is less potent, or which of the two of the nipples is more
you know,
sort of unnecessary.
And
you know?
exactly, you know, people are also distracted by male nipples. I think the idea that like women's, you know, chests are distracting, but men's chests, like, I struggle to focus too, but it's like, we were talking about, you know, Jeffrey Epstein and all the serial rapists and how we kind of focus on what the victim can do to protect themselves, you know. They were like, hey, you, child, cover up because there are rapists around, rather than, what? Get rid of the rapists. I should be able to be comfortable.
Yeah, on some level that like the thing that makes it distracting for men is the mythology around it, you know, and is the scarcity of it. You know, let's say if everybody had their nipples out more, I don't know exactly how it goes, but
I mean, in tribes in Africa and the Amazon and stuff, we, you know, see their whole tribe is naked, and it's not like, they're not just like, oh, we can't do anything, everyone's just raping each other to death. They understand that like any animal that comes out of the womb naked, they just are, and they don't, you know, they're still able to work, have sex, not have sex, and like, it's cool. It's just because we've made these weird made up separations that we think they're natural. We think there's nothing else we can do. We you know, that's how it is now, but like, you know,
yeah,
we
man.
made all this up, so we can make it up differently.
Correct, love.
But you're right. Women's chests are functional, whereas dudes are purely decorational and erotic. And if they don't, you know, serve a function and they're predominantly used for pleasure, as men's nipples are, y'all should be the one to cover up. I'm tired of seeing dudes with bigger breasts than me feeling free to be tittied out wherever they want.
It really is that simple, you know? The fact that there's any struggle on this, it's that simple. I mean, and this thing, it shows up in everything. It shows up in Roe v. Wade. It's the same principles that you guys don't, you know. We have these norms of decency that didn't include y'all, and we weren't in the room for the discussion. Yeah. And we just keep it going, and I don't know. I just support the free titty movement.
Absolutely.
You go, girl, with your free titties.
Yes.
And other than that, people just gotta find their spaces for themselves, you know? Find your joy. Don't let these motherfuckers tell you how to be, because they suck. These people suck. Mm-hmm. The people telling people how to be.
And telling specific people how to be, because, you know, we still have Viagra, and that should be, you know, if we're regulating people's personal sexual choices, let's nip it in the bud. Let's regulate dudes' penises.
Regulate dudes' penises.
No Viagra. If the universe wanted you to have a limp penis,
no Viagra.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, the fact that, isn't there a different, like, insurance thing going on there?
Yep. Viagra is certainly covered under insurance, and there's no, like, you know, oh, we shouldn't do that. But birth control, that's not cool. Can't regulate that.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
I mean, yeah.
Nonsense hypocrisy. Nonsense hypocrisy, again and again and again. Alright. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm going to create a sky. Pull that down. Bum 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 bum. What's happening?
Just reading about the history of nuance and how landlords and real estate agents played a significant role in the downturn of the area. I believe that in Baltimore, they did that. They did a lot of like racial redlining and, you know, fear mongering, which led to businesses, white people, resources leaving certain areas. What was left was, you know, neglect. And
yeah, New Lights had a rough patch there. But I have several friends who still live there, and it's different. Well, not still live there, who live, I don't know. One friend you met, Alicia, her family's from out there, so. I don't know.
Alicia. Oh yeah, she's got a twin.
Yeah. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change these colors up real quick. And I'm gonna do something. Get this guy going.
Think of what we need for our tubing trip.
We got tubes, right?
Isn't it interesting also, you know, your story about feeling safe, or like, you know, trying to fit in and feeling safe, and mine are kind of, we both felt like we had to like put something on in order to be protected from the outside. For you, it was like this physical weight. Mine is just like a physical shroud.
Clothing. Yeah. Well, yeah. They're kind of both the same thing, right? Yeah. It's a mask. It's a performance. It's whatever you want to call it. It's all that. See. All right. I'm trying to get these colors going here.
I think this looks more and more like,
Looks more and more like what?
New Lots.
New Lots.
Avenue.
Yes, yes. All right. Let's get these lines going.
Nice. That looks just like a fucking power line, babe.
Yeah.
Wow. Interested to see what you're gonna do after.
Yeah, me too, actually. I keep saying that, but I mean it.
Nice.
Let's put that there. Let's get the street in here. I did the wrong thing outside.
I think you just quite good looking at your hands.
What am I at here? Object, round, V, thing. Drop that color I just had. Post it. Okay. Is this just good? Am I gonna be in here? I guess I'm supposed to be in here somehow, right?
It's interesting that your instinct is to draw the surroundings rather than yourself. It might not mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it is easier to draw something external to you than, you know, yourself.
For sure. For me, yeah.
And for me, I wouldn't know how to draw myself.
Yeah.
But I could maybe
Where
draw
can
a
I
street.
begin on that? Exactly. I guess I could just draw. I made this a difficult situation here. Let me just make a dude walking across here, because this actually reminds me. This would be on the way to that train there. So I'll just have a person walking here, and I'll probably finish this after the stream. Sheba, grease pencil blank. This is kid.
Is this when your mom used to dress you in like full suits?
No, she never had me full suits, but she had like outfits. She had this like, what was it, man? Like Travel Fox. Like Travel Fox was a shoe company that she used to fuck with. That I like, you know, by extension, I used to fuck with. And I had like these outfits that were full body, kind of pockets, like mad pockets, yo. This looked like I was going on some camping adventure.
We gotta go on a camping adventure, by the way.
Yeah.
Get you one of those full body pocket suits again.
No.
Bring you back to that area.
No!
Never! No!
Dark sheet. Bring this down. Object transforms. So I'm gonna try to make this guy. By the time he gets over here, origin to geometry, and we're gonna have everyone over here. And it gets really big.
Cool.
Crapola.
Great. Wow, it's already 78. God damn. Feels like 85. Right.
78, that's the temperature?
Yeah.
Alright, so I got this guy walking across. He's not really walking yet, but one of the things I want to do is have him speed up.
Might make, okay, so today there's an 80% chance of precipitation today.
Okay.
High of 82, low of 68. Tomorrow, there's a high of 85, low of 72. 30% chance of precipitation during the night. So
during the night.
It might make more sense. So yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah?
Which
I think we originally said that actually.
We did. I am kicking myself a bit then full. But that's okay. Now we have a full day. So like kiki. Ooh, we went to this delicious I really enjoyed the food we got yesterday. We went to this place, Ni Hao, which means hello in Chinese.
It was really good. It was really good. I thought it was one of the better places out here.
Yeah, definitely for Chinese
shortlist,
too. We rarely get like kind of a, upper scale, not always upscale, but like, not just like a Chinese food joint per se. But yeah, got like a cool tasting menu. Got some Peking duck, so good. Drinks were not as boozy as I would like.
Yeah, the drink.
I'm an alcoholic, so
wasn't that.
What can you do?
But it was tasty.
Absolutely, very tasty. Yeah. We also learned Japanese phrase. It's kind of like it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's no victory.
Ooh, do you remember how to say it?
Shogun something. Shogunai. Shogunai.
I think that's it. We could be totally wrong. Sakura's
I know, Sakura's
screaming.
like,
Sakura, leave us in the chat if we're destroying that. Sorry.
We're being really butchering the Japanese language, but Shogunai. Let's see.
You got it right?
Shogunai, I did. It means it can't be helped.
Why'd you gasp like that?
Because I got it right.
My goodness.
Shogunai.
Sometimes your gasps are like, what?
I know, I like a dramatic gasp. It just keeps people on their toes. Shogunai. Shogunai. Because I want to say it country style, like real blended together.
Right, there's the city way to say it, and there's the country way.
Mm-hmm. Shogunai.
We almost out here, son. Stop. Okay. So then we take this. Jesus. We're on this. Grease pencil. Hey, we got it right. Sakura says.
Ah! Sugar eye.
So why can't I erase this? Interesting. Delete. Okay, great. Jesus, that took forever. All right, and then we do.
I feel like my ADD would make it difficult for me to, I don't know, to do like the detail-oriented kind of stuff that requires this, going back and forth and things. But I also go down like holes of very like detailed, you know, getting information and stuff. So
Exactly, really.
who knows?
It's like, do you like the thing? That's what.
Yeah.
It is.
Am I interested in it?
Which is
Then
why you gotta do stuff you like. You gotta let people do stuff they like.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Okay.
Oh, it's lovely day.
Okay.
Sugar high.
She was saying how she didn't like the food was good, just Sakura, but she didn't like the name.
Yeah.
It's like
It means
hey hi is hello.
hello.
Which is just like really cheap.
Be like an American restaurant in China called Howdy. Howdy.
Howdy. What is that Chinese restaurant serve? Called
It's
Howdy?
an American restaurant in China.
American restaurant in China. Yes.
So it's just like cheeseburgers.
Howdy.
Hot dogs probably disgusting, honestly.
Come to Howdy, get your cheeseburger.
American style cheeseburger. Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Foot back. That's the one. Yeah, foot back. Oh no, it keeps going. Okay, great.
Wow.
Alright. So.
I like this. It doesn't tell me much. Other than you're very talented at creating, like, movement.
Yeah, thanks, I guess. That insult me.
What? I complimented you. And
I feel
you
insulted.
room for improvement. Shh. You know, sugar that.
Sugar night. So what? How can you know what? Do we have? Where we at? We at 143. How you feeling, Sheeps?
I'm feeling good.
You feeling good? Should we? What? Keep going on this?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to. Oh, and we don't have anywhere to go anymore. We're not doing anything anymore.
So we're chilling. What do you want to do? What are you thinking?
With this picture, I'm thinking rap it because I don't know where to go any further with this right now.
Sugar.
At this point, exactly. That's great. Let me save this up real quick. This will be walking. I can't spell.
Walking Little Billy.
I changed it to walking in the city. I felt more.
Love it. Walking in the city. That is what is happening.
Correct.
I'm interested to see how it evolves. If it evolves. Does it need to?
Yeah. Great, babe. Woo!
Sugar
night.
Anyway.
I think that's
What do you wanna
it,
do?
baby. Unless you wanna stay on, do another wheel spin, or we wrap this up.
We can see what the wheel comes up with.
Let's see what it does.
If it's something quick.
Ba-bam. And compliment. That's a great way to end. We can end with this. No, hold on. Didn't we change that? Oh, I forgot to take this off. So here's what we did. So we had compliment was intended to be gratitude. We got these two things here of gratitude, and I think compliment is the same thing. So
It is.
it's all gratitude. So the point here.
Yeah.
You go first. I go first.
Whatever.
I'll go first.
Okay. Let me think.
A lot of gratitude for you. I'm very happy for you. I think that you're really interesting and powerful, and you are my compliment in a really interesting, amazing way that I didn't expect, yo. I think that you're dope and hot and amazing and creative, you know, and not in the typical way, but in like a more meaningful, not more meaningful, like a full way, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of time when you say, oh, I'm not creative, you kind of, with your stand-up, the stuff you've been doing, I think it's so exhilarating to kind of watch it firsthand and see you do the shit you're doing. So much gratitude for you, baby. Love you. Mwah.
Love you. Hell yeah, babe. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm really, grateful that you think I'm your compliment, because you're so fucking dope and cool and smart and thoughtful and, you know, clever and creative and also like hardworking, you know, and like integrous. You know, you do kind of what you say, and that helps me, you know, be like, oh shit, can I do that too? Oh my God. And you're so supportive of other people, particularly me, and like it's really awesome. I really appreciate and I'm grateful for you, what you do. You're really thoughtful and awesome and sexy and fun. Okay, anyway.
Thank you, baby. Yeah. It's a little cheesy, but I fuck with it. Like fuck it. You know what I mean? Like
who cares? Who doesn't love cheese? What?
Yeah. First off, cheese is a great thing.
So.
Two, gratitude is an underutilized thing. You know what I'm saying? Like to have that in a very intentional way. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So thanks for your support. It's something you mentioned. I want to use that word for me. Your support is insane. Your example, your freedom is a great, interesting contrast for me, because I'm free in other different ways, and you're free in ways that I didn't fathom really. And when I first met you, it took a while to fully grasp it, to to understand it, and you know, it's still every new layer, every new thing I get to learn about you that is you. Every time you feel your freest, man, I'm like, oh shit, and I'm always just trying to like set you up to be that, because you're fucking amazing. So that's it.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. I feel like, you know, men are often encouraged to, you know, imitate and admire other men and like kind of be inspired by women in women's ability to kind of like, you know, be support people like our mothers or our grandmothers, you know, they like made it work and always had a smile on their face, and they would go without, you know, so that we could, you know, be happy. And I like that you value me for my freedom, and I'm like, and you're inspired by my freedom. That seems really cool and revolutionary. So like, I appreciate you. You're so fucking dope.
Girl. You a beast, girl.
Yes.
More horns. Yo, we're gonna wrap it up, yo. Thank you, yo. Thanks for everybody for watching. Sakura, thanks for being here in the other room and for watching and for everything. And
yeah, totally.
It's episode 11. You know what I'm thinking? I think we go to 15.
Okay.
And we wrap it up as a season at 15. And then we take a break at 15. So we got 4 more episodes. We're going to have some fun. We're going to keep evolving the wheel and trying shit.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
Learning more about each other. So excited. All right. Deuces. Happy Saturday. See you later.
Take it easy, yo.
Thanks for joining us so early, too.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on the lights to turn green. I'll be there to rush, baby. Purple walls inside you, you gave it up. inside you. You told me stuff inside you. We fell in love inside you. Purple walls inside you. You gave it up inside you. You told me stuff inside you. We fell in love inside you. Yeah, yeah. Left me for someone who's gonna love you better. Nothing wrong with that. Can't be so sad.